Well, that did not go well. The Oilers fall 5-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. At least they have one more game before the Olympic break. Make up a little bit of ground and see what they can do in Calgary tomorrow. But we're going to break this one down right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. Tom Gazzola with you alongside my good friends and colleagues, Ben Thomson, and our game analyst, Shawn. Belle, we definitely want to hear your thoughts on tonight's Oilers loss. Text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat over on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it so very, very much. Of course, as we get things going, I'll remind everyone that GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the pre- and post-game show here on EST and providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Things, Bellsy and Benny, were looking okay. The Oilers were in a good spot for a good chunk of this game. They got the equalizer and then a couple of penalties in back-to-back. I mean, what was it, 6 seconds apart? Yeah. You had the interference on a break-in to the Leafs zone, Savoy at the blue line. I know we don't love that penalty, but it's been called a bunch this season around the league. You've seen it get called. I think Roslovic had one earlier in the year. Hyman's been called on it a few times, and tonight it was Savoy. And then 6 seconds later, what do we get? Oh, no, they scored 6 seconds. No. Anyway.
Janmark got a
no. There was a penalty. Yeah, there was a penalty 6 seconds.
Face off. They start going. Janmark and Bellsy, you and I were having a discussion about that penalty. Like, Janmark gets his stick up there. You see Matthews kick his head back, and then the call from the ref as soon as they see him fling his head back, high stick. It's a 5-on-3. The Oilers do a decent job on that 5-on-3, but eventually Tavares cashes in, and then Michelli would add another one, and boom, it's, you go from 2-2, things looking like you have a chance to it's over basically, and then the empty netter seals the deal. So I'm not going to lie. Like, did I think it was a great game from the Oilers? No. Did I think they were loose defensively again? Yes. Did I think they had a chance to win that game? Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And that sequence with the two calls, boom, boom, like that, and then the two power play goals from the Leafs, that was it. That was the game. I mean, I know we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of tonight, but I expected there to be a lot of chances. There were a lot of chances. I expected there to be an emphasis on offense, and there was. And, both goalies made some pretty big saves. But that was the difference, in my opinion. That's the turning point of the game. I'll get to it later, but that's, to me, the turning point of the game. Bellsy?
Yeah, I mean, slowish start to the first period. I thought, teams obviously traded chances. They were like a little bit tentative coming out, and I don't think it was truly a game until the second period. And what I mean by that is, both teams starting to try to impose their will. Like, I thought that happened in the second period. The first period, it was kind of just a ho-hum affair. And then as you get into the third period, it's 2-2. And I personally don't like either of the calls. I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs and say, hey, they're the ones that took the game away from the Oilers. But I don't like either of the calls. And to me, the Savoy call, like, he almost looked like he was, skating. The guy, like, backed into him. And I know that call has been made quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's different because, like, that play will get called on a power play, right? Like, a guy's coming across a blue line and he kind of picks on purpose the defenseman. Mm-hmm. But in this particular case, like, he was kind of just backing up, and it seemed like to me the opposing defenseman ran into him and kind of fell over because he wasn't expecting him. Like, I didn't think it was what we've expected from calls for interference calls in that particular situation. The next play, well, I got an issue with that one because now it's a loose puck race. Janmark's the last guy to touch this puck. He gets this puck out. Now all of a sudden it's a race. Well, Matthews sticking his arm into his, like, midsection is the definition of interference. You're impeding him from going to get the puck, and so he outmuscles you, and sure, he gets his stick up. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to call that one, to me, the call should also go to interference, because that's exactly what happened. It's an interference call because you're impeding him from getting the puck. So I didn't really care for that second one. The high stick, it's a high stick. He snaps his head back. As a ref, you're basically, you're going to call that. You're taught to call that.
Yeah.
It's instantaneous. But you also have to find the other play too, where it's like, okay, there's a race for the puck, and he's clearly impeding him from getting to that puck. So which is interference all day, every day. So that's what I had. That's my issue. And then it turns a game into a 4-2 game and good night from there.
Yeah. Benny Thomson.
For me, I 100% agree with you, Belsey. Matthews should have gotten interference. That's absolutely high stick from Janmark, but that doesn't happen without the interference. I don't like both calls, but I understand how both happened. And ultimately their PK failed them. That is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You're in a tie game where it's back and forth. A 5-on-3 with those threats that Toronto has, tough thing to do. And they held up well in that first minute, but eventually fell through. The first one on the 5-on-3, I'm okay with. It's the second one, the 5-on-4. That, like, you just, man, like, if you could have killed that one, it's a 1-goal game. You're probably talking about a closer ending, right? I'm seeing a lot of chat about, like, the Oilers stunk tonight. The Oilers did not stink tonight, okay? They were they their best? No. They were leaking in their own end, 100%. To me, I thought both teams were really bad in their own end. They made careless turnovers and could not break a puck out. Both teams, both sides. Now, both sides also had their goaltenders playing well tonight. Stolarz was great for Toronto. Ingram was really good for Edmonton tonight. Despite giving up 4 goals, I mean, what do you want them to do on all 4 of them? To me, it was Stolarz made even bigger saves than Ingram did. Both teams gave up chances. Toronto ended up winning this one. They ended up getting 2 power plays late in the third period, and they capitalized on them. Good for them, but to me, this wasn't all doom and gloom for the Oilers. They looked good in the offensive zone. They looked dangerous. Stolarz had something to say about it, and I mean, in the end, that's the game pretty much. Stolarz made the big saves when they needed him to, and the Oilers failed to kill those power plays. That wraps it.
The PK guys, I think this is an important talking point for the Oilers, because that's 0 for 2 tonight. Okay. Yeah. Right. And granted, yes, it started with a prolonged 5-on-3, and then, the Leafs take advantage of both opportunities. So the PK tonight, 0 for 2. They give up multiple power play goals against. Yep. I'm just going through the last handful of games. The PK 1 for 3 the other night against Minnesota, not good enough. 2 for 2 against the Sharks. Okay, as if you're an Oiler fan, you like that. But then 1 for 4 against the Ducks. That's not good. So in 3 of the last 4, they've allowed multiple power play goals. And that's why they went from 10th in the NHL in the PK like a week and a half ago to tonight, where they came into the game, I think it was 19th overall in the league. And they're leaking goals on the PK. That is becoming an issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, and today's goals, when you look at it, Benny kind of talked about it already. Like, they did a decent job in the 5-on-3. Unfortunately, Nylander gets the puck off a bit of a scramble play, turns and fires it to Tavares, who's at the back door, and it's a seam play. And for the most part, like, when you're PK and you're trying to get into spots to limit it, because it's a 5-on-3. It's hard to limit it. There's lots of good movement from the Leafs. The way that they rotated players in and out of spots, the puck movement was good, but you're just trying to find as many seams as you possibly can. And I think the guys were getting a little bit tired, and then they just hit that perfect play. It was a great play, great heads up play from Nylander. Tavares sitting on the back door, and he taps in. It's something that we see here in Edmonton with McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl. It's a good play. You got to kind of tip your hat to what they did. But then the second goal, Maselli's goal, that's a seam pass where you can't allow that thing to go from basically the top of the circles all the way across the ice to just under the circles. Like, to me, there's got to be a guy that's sagging on the weak side to get a stick in that particular lane, and you take that away. And when the Oilers were higher, I think you said 10th in the league, Tom?
They were. That's the highest.
When they were at 10th in the league, they did a really good job of taking away seam plays. They did a really good job of making sure the puck stayed on the outside. And now you're starting to see What we saw last year with their PK is they're just getting seamed to death. And so anytime that happens, it's extremely tough for goaltenders to make the save. And, Ingram he's pretty good side to side. He makes some big saves when he needs to. But unfortunately, when you consistently make that play, it's hard for the goaltenders to stop it.
Okay, let's get the turning point of the game out of the way, because I think it's I already alluded to it, so we're going to take care of business here. The turning point of the game presented by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas, so get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. And I know the goals came after, but it was those 6 seconds where the Savoy penalty, the interference, and you heard Bellsy say, didn't love that call. And then the second one on Janmark, where he's trying to break and create an opportunity offensively on the PK, going head-to-head against Austin Matthews, and then Matthews kind of digs in, and then you see, Janmark's stick gets up there, and the head kick back, and all of a sudden, 6 seconds later, the Oilers are on a minute 54 5-on-3 disadvantage, and sure enough, they kill off the first minute of it, but then the Leafs get the first one, and then boom, boom, they get the second one. That is the turning point of the game. They were in the game until that point. That's what killed all their momentum. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Go visit them at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. Boys, let's get into some texts here. People, I'm pretty sure, probably not too happy about how things ended up happening in the third period. So let's go to Cal in the Park first. What's up, Cal? Says, I blame Joaquin for the loss. He stole Leon's goal-scoring confidence on Sunday. LOL. This is not a good hockey team. Goaltending is not as good as it was with Pickard and Skinner. Wow. Penalty kill is a disaster on a good night. Defensive structure is 2 9-letter words to this team. As the Alan Parsons Project asked in the 80s, where do we go from here? So a bit glum there from Cal in the Park. Very stark thoughts there. Jason says, get Nurse off the PK. He's terrible. Troll texting in says, this is a legitimate question. Can anyone name one single player in the NHL more completely useless than Frederick? Best player in the world gets smoked right in front of him. He skates by as if there's nothing to see here, but then plays the quote-unquote tough guy with a minute left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I saw that play happen live. And I looked at Reid and I was like, did he just go after the same guy? Because I don't think he saw it. Because he went after somebody, but I was like, wait a second, is he going after the wrong guy? Because whoever he asked to fight instantaneously turned it down, and then he went and finished his shift. Yeah. And I think he changed or he finished his shift or whatever happened.
Yeah.
And so then I think Nurse from the bench saw it was Carlo, and that's why the fight happened. So I think there was a response from Frederick. I just don't know if he saw exactly what happened and who it was.
Because there's two guys crossing on McDavid.
Yeah, he went after the guy, but I think it was the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say we didn't catch that on TV. It caught a shot of McDavid getting hit, and the first guy you see in the frame is Frederick, and he's heading off ice. So I could see that. I'm happy someone stepped up. Like, good for Darnell in that case. Yeah. Going in and laying him down. I understand the frustration with Frederick, and once again, tell me to get my eyes checked, people, if you disagree with me. I actually thought he wasn't that bad tonight. That
line had some good moments.
I thought that line had some juice. It started the game really well. That's the most I've seen him run around, hit guys, and then have chances in front of the net. Like, I thought he was. Yep. I thought he was decent tonight. Once again, is that what you're wanting from Frederick? Like, I'm talking when we first saw him get to Edmonton. No, we want better, but. Tonight, it was one of his better games, in my opinion, of the year. And that's saying something, obviously. And
the bar is low.
Year.
We know this.
The bar is low,
the
100%. But I noticed him out there way more than I have in previous nights.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I thought he was more engaged. I actually thought that line was pretty good. Mangiapane was kind of getting into his rat vibes, trying to mix it up a little bit. I personally thought that line wasn't the issue. I thought Stolarz made some really big saves when guys were wide open. I thought that there was some chances the Oilers had, or opportunities that the Oilers had, that they could have shot the puck. They obviously decided to pass it to a guy that may or may not have been wide open. And Stolarz made some big saves. I genuinely thought that, I'm not going to call it goalie, because that to me it's a word that's utilized. But I do think that he made some big timely saves that could have switched the game and the momentum of the game, and he kept it close, or, having the Leafs ahead.
Two things what you brought up there with Stolar and the whole goal lead thing. To me, in order to be goal lead, you have to completely dominate a team and not give up a whole lot on your own end, and to have and for it to me to be low scoring. And the Oilers only scored 2 today, but they were too leaky in their own zone. And the score, as much as it could have been a win for the Oilers, it could have been more drastic for the Leafs if Connor Ingram doesn't step up, make some big saves, right? So to me, absolutely not throwing a goalie turnaround tonight for it. Mangiapane, I thought he was noticeable at the start, and he was causing scrums, and he had chances and all this stuff. And then he has that ozone turnover on the blue line that causes the first or second goal. I can't remember which one it is. It was the first goal. First goal, Michelle's tip. And then he sat for the rest of the second period, which I found very interesting, because to me it looked like, it was like, okay, it seems like he's auditioning to, like, hey, I'm here and I'm pissed off. I'm not playing. Like, I'm gonna cause some stuff. Good for him. And then he has a really bad ozone turnover, which obviously, when you're a fourth liner, you need to play safe. And that one, it didn't go his way. And Knobloch had enough of it and sat him and put Draisaitl on that line. So I found that very interesting. And when you have a short leash like that, I guess a turnover like that is enough for you to take a seat for a while.
Okay, speaking of turnovers, Troll's asking, who do you guys blame on the second goal against? That was the Nyes goal, basically right off a face-off. Ingram goes and plays the puck behind the net over to Nurse. Nurse does not handle it well, whatever, it kicks out. And then it's the pass into the slot, and two Oilers let Nyes grab the puck and slip it by Connor Ingram. I don't know if you guys want to watch it again or not, but I was just watching it. And Nurse not handling the puck, and it bounces off his skate and kicks up. And then the quick pass over to Nyes from it was Nick Waugh. It was Nick Waugh. And then there's two guys that just leave Nyes wide open, and he just goes forehand, backhand, and Ingram's coming back to the net. He's sliding out of position, and it's in the back of the net. So I would say it's on Darnell not picking up the pass from Connor Ingram. But then on top of that, you look at the two guys who are in front of Ingram that are there in front of Nyes, who are, was it Szymanski and Wallman you just said, Benny?
Wallman. Yeah, those were the two.
Well, one of you pick them up, because you've got a 2-on-1 situation where you're outmanning him or the Leafs, and you shouldn't be losing in that situation. One of you get them. I think there's equal blame on the bobbled pass, and then equal blame on the guys that just sat there and let Nyes take the puck and slip it by Ingram. That's my opinion. I don't know if you need to watch it again or you have a thought on it, Belsey or Benny, but I would say, well, Darnell, can you please pick up a pass from your goalie when you're the guy that's waiting for it? And then, hey, guys, if that puck gets fumbled and all of a sudden they're coming at you, maybe just engage the guy that's in front of the net that the Leafs player is looking for.
I completely hated that goal because the Oilers worked extremely hard to get a goal. Yeah. And then you turn around and you give up that one when
9 seconds.
9 seconds. To me, everybody was just nonchalant. You were happy that you scored the shift before, and you come out, the puck gets dropped, and you're nonchalant. That's what happened. And the Oilers sometimes have the tendency to do that, and unfortunately it goes in the back of their net. And it's like, guys, are you kidding me? Like, that's the stuff that makes coaches lose their minds, because you just worked so hard to get a goal. And it wasn't like they were just, being handed out. Like Stolar's made some good saves and he made you earn it. And so you score a goal, you're starting to find your legs. You're starting to outplay them in the second period, in my opinion. And then all of a sudden you decide to give them a goal right back 9 seconds later after you score because you weren't engaged. You were nonchalant. Like that to me is just an absolute killer, because it's one of those things on the bench. You look at, you're like, okay, great. We feel good about ourselves, the way that we're playing.
Yeah.
And then boom, here it is. Okay, we're now chasing the game again.
Yeah.
So quickly.
Yeah.
It's a buzzkill.
On the goal itself, I didn't love the Ingram pass. Like it was right perfectly in the middle of Darnell's feet. So it was a little bit of a grenade. So I put, that's the only goal in the game where I put a partial blame on Ingram. Still, Nurse needs to make a better play with that pass.
Because he tries to pick it up off his foot, right?
Yes,
and it kicks up.
And that's where it kicks out.
Yeah.
And there was also a ref in between Ingram and Nurse. So I don't know if that had a factor in it as well. I haven't watched it. But yeah, it's partial blame on Ingram, very small. Nurse, Wallman, and Szymanski. All of them got to make a better play on that. Especially after you just tied the game when Stolarz was playing really well. You just fought back to tie it. You cancel out your big goal to tie it. You can't do that.
All right, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat, it's humming along nicely. Shawn, Belle, McSorley 33 wants to see you on the bench with the Oilers as an assistant coach. I see that, McSorley. Appreciate
no, thank you.
No, thank you. I don't need that headache, says Bellsy. Let's go to Greg.
Because I'd be on the bench and the nasty chat would eviscerate me if one thing happened wrong. So no, I want no part of that. I like my safety here.
We'd have signs in the crowd.
Oh, it would be so bad. It'd be like,
Shawn
fire
Bella.
this bum.
Yeah,
fire him right now. He's a joke. They gave up one. There's a turnover. This guy's a joke. Get him out of here. Can't believe the Oilers would hire such a useless guy. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm good. I'll just continue having this.
Yeah, Chief Andy would be front row in your ear the whole
Chief
time.
Andy would be, yeah, for sure. He would be just loving it. Banging on the glass. No, I'm good.
Bellsy don't want that smoke. You don't want
No,
that
I don't.
smoke.
That is not the smoke I want.
No, sir. Jason and Leduc on the nasty chat side says, watch the face-off, Tommy. Wallman leaves his spot to go after the Leafs player and was late to the front of his net. Ingram only had Nurse to pass to because Wallman was still at the blue line. And then Reid just texted in. He's working the room and the Hall of Fame room for the press conference from Knobloch. And Reid says, he just texted me, he says, Nurse said he didn't get a clear look at that pass with the ref there. So that's Reid reporting that from Nurse. We'll get those clips as soon as we can, as you know. Let's go to Greg the Sound Guy via the inbox, 780-218-9999. Greg the Sound Guy says, that game was the chef's kiss for this homestand. They pissed away an amazing opportunity with disinterested defense, subpar goaltending, and some Benny Hill theme-worthy play all around. Murray from the Golf Show was 100% correct. Stan Bowman is sewering this team. Maybe it's Oiler PTSD, but this is really beginning to feel like Chiarelli all over again with the moves he's made and how they are playing out. I am frustrated, boys. Greg.
Okay.
Well, hang on.
Can we get a PSA?
Well, we're going to do the PSA. It's a great idea. I think we need to do that with Bellsy and Cass and Joaquin. I think we'll get to those. But the Chiarelli feel, I've said this too. It's not like red alert Chiarelli bad. But some of these moves, you're going, what is that? Why did you do that? Did you make the team better? I feel like you didn't. And I've had a bit of that sense too, Greg. I don't know how much I want to get behind that thought. I still have hope with this group and faith that it will eventually bounce back. But the connection or the correlation to some of Chiarelli's moves, I understand. That's all I wanted to say. I don't know if it's completely there yet. And then when it got bad with Chiarelli, it got real bad. Go ahead,
guys.
Go ahead. I'm just saying.
No, I understand. I understand.
Until I see a Brandon Manning trade like that.
That was terrible. That was so stupid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Until we see like a Spooner trade.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I understand the frustration. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody. But guys, take a breath. Remember the boneheadedness that came out of Chiarelli, because there were so many absolute grenades that were lobbed out there. Yes. And right now, as much as we can sit back and look at Jackson and Bowman, and you feel that maybe some of the moves aren't correct, we can agree to one thing. The players that they brought in, they are trying to improve the team. The Arvidssons of the world, when you watch him play in LA, you could have sat back on your couch and said, hey, that's a guy that we probably want in the Oilers because he's pesky. He plays hard, right? He plays hard minutes.
Yeah.
He can get you some goals. There's some secondary stuff there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Mangiapane, when you looked at him from Calgary, I think every Oiler fan could probably sit back and agree and say, hey, that guy, when he was in Calgary, that guy was a mother blank. And we want him on our team because that guy was making life miserable for players.
Yeah.
And he scored, 33 goals that year? He had a great 35. Year. So he tried to bring him in to resurrect what he did in Calgary. Is it working out? Not necessarily. When you look at Frederick, what does Frederick do when he was in Boston? He was big, he was tough, he skated. I think he had 17 goals. He was a guy that you could sit back and say, this is a perfect third line guy. So he's tried to bring that guy in. Has it worked out as of yet? Not necessarily. But this is no Ryan Spooner for Strome. That's not even remotely there. This is not
there yet.
This is not Manning after he hurt McDavid, and for whatever reason you decide to wake up and you're like, hey, you know what's a great idea? Let's go trade for Manning. We're not there yet. So I get the frustration. I really do. And I sympathize with it. However, we aren't there.
Yeah. And the Manning thing, like it was ridiculous because he was in the minors not long after,
it's like that was savior too. Like it's not even like a great defenseman.
And he was getting healthy scratched in the minors. So that was horrendous. And we agree. Okay. I'll hit a couple on the nasty chat side. Vandalay VP says not matching Broberg. Vandalay VP, like Broberg wanted out. Yeah. He wanted a trade. So the Holloway one hurts.
That one's an issue. Yeah. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I wanted to get to one. Oh, Banksy GG in the nasty chat as well says the first in the division talk is ridiculous. I understand that sentiment, but the reality right now is Edmonton is tied with Vegas for first in the division, 3 points up on Seattle. Now, Edmonton's played more games than the Golden Knights. They have another game tomorrow. The Kraken have played 3 less games than the Oilers. I get that. And they pissed away some points against some bad teams. I understand. But at the end of the day, Edmonton is right there in the mix for top spot in the division as of right now. Yep. You might not believe in them or think they're going to pull through, but the reality is right now they're there. And they put themselves into this situation. Is this division the weakest in the NHL? Yeah. Could they get run over in the playoffs? Absolutely. But the reality is they're right there. So even though I understand where Banksy and others are coming from in regard to like the first in division talk, don't give me that crap, they are there.
The other one that I want to just quickly talk about
Go for it.
Is that people in the chat are like, he gave 8 years to Frederick.
Yeah,
I get it.
We know that.
I get it. It's not great.
Yes.
But once again, Strome for Spooner is a whole nother level of terrible. It's horrible.
Excellent use of
We're not at horrible yet.
Mikko Koskinen played 20 games and signed a 3-year deal for $4.5 million. Wasn't that the contract?
That was so dumb. That was like days before he got let go.
We're not expunging Bowman. Trust me.
No.
8 years for Frederick is not good. Tommy was on this and he criticized that lots. Oh. We're not saying it's a good thing, but Chiarelli levels of bad.
It's not.
Guys, come on.
Not yet.
Let's go have a drink.
Okay,
lots of Pepsi.
Have a soda.
Something.
Have a soda. Let's go to the Liquid Beaver via the inbox 780-218-9999. Liquid Beaver saw him at the Fun Spiel. Good to see him. Says, we have given up a handful of goals on poor changes in the second period. Need to clean that up. Would also like to see more traffic in front of the net in the offensive zone. Too many flybys, in my opinion. Let's go to Ken. Ken Texan says, I've taken a breath, but I can't shake the Chiarelli 2.0 vibes from Bowman. It started last season acquiring an injured Frederick and Regula, intensified after giving a bottom six player an 8-year contract with a no move. Now the rumors of extending Roslovic for at least 4 years, given his history of fading when the competition gets tough. It would take a third trip to the Cup final before I give Bowman any benefit of the doubt. Ken texting in that one. And then EMG says, do you think there's a correlation at all with some of the role players not playing well and their limited playing time? Have been top heavy all year. Hard to get them going when there's no flow in the game. I'll hand that off to Bellsy.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that. We've seen it for years that guys come here, they have good years a year before they come here, and they're not utilized as much. And, we talked about it on the pregame show. Yes, I understand why they only run one power play unit, because you have unbelievable players on it, and you've had historic levels of power play numbers, right? Like it's something that will get you instantaneously back in the game. However, if you are a guy that is relied upon to be a secondary scorer, you come in, you have, 40, 50 points a year before. Well, guess what? Some of those 40, 50 points came on the power play. And so you need to have those touches so that you can stay invested, because skill guys want to skill. That's one thing that they want to do. They don't want to now have to say, hey, I'm a skill guy and I'm going to grind it out. Skill guys want to skill. And if they can get their touches, they're going to have a little bit more confidence. The game's going to come to them. And then all of a sudden, you have secondary scoring. So when you have limited opportunity and limited, minutes, yeah, it's hard for guys to do that. So like a guy like Roslovic, we talked about this earlier. Well, he's known as a streaky scorer. Mm-hmm. He got hot right away. When was he hot? Well, whose line was he playing on?
Top six. Top six.
All of a sudden now he's in the bottom six. He's in the bottom six. His scoring has dried up, but he's not getting any love on the power play. He's not getting opportunities on the power play. And that'd be a perfect way for him to maybe get that goal that can maybe spark him into being streaky again. He almost had one tonight, but that's kind of the situation that happens when, you roll one unit out there. And trust me, I sit back and I go, okay, well, yeah, you have Bouchard, you have McDavid, you have Nugent-Hopkins, you got Hyman, and you got Draisaitl. Mm-hmm. It's tough to argue that, and it's tough to argue the success that they have, but just knowing and playing, that second unit needs a little bit of love.
Yeah, I was gonna say the depth scoring thing, 100%. It's the ice time rollout for sure, but we know this is how the Oilers are going to run it. Like this. They're going to ride with McDavid and Draisaitl in this unit. They're always going to. So whenever the Oilers bring in that forward to come in and play a depth role, you have to remove any power play points they've had and probably take their production down a little bit, because they're going to have less ice time than where they were before.
But that was the benefit of Roslovic. Remember how few power play points he had?
Exactly.
Like, he's a 5-on-5 scorer.
Which is why I was going to say
tonight.
Yeah, which is why I was going to say he's come as advertised. All we've heard from him, all we've heard from other markets since he's come to Edmonton was he's a hot and cold guy that scores on 5-on-5. That hot streak, that was all 5-on-5 pretty much. And he's gone on a cold streak. Is it due to third line minutes? Yeah, probably. But even if he has a hot streak coming back up, it's going to be 5-on-5. He's come as advertised to me. So to me, you can't be surprised with how he's playing and with how the depth is, because you have to lower their minutes from where they were previously, and you have to remove any power play points they get, which is why if they go in and get a guy like Bobby McMann, for example, he has 38 points this year, 4 of them on the power play. That's pretty good. And you would expect that if he were to be in Edmonton, production similar level to what he has in Toronto right now, even though he's playing top line tonight. But
he looked pretty good tonight.
He did look pretty damn good.
He did.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Nicholas Waugh?
Solid.
He's been solid. He's a big centerman, right shot guy. Like, I understand why Oilers fans would get excited for the possibility of him becoming an Oiler. Like I would want a big right shot centerman that can play big boy hockey. Tantalizing.
Could you package Watt and McMahon in a possible deal?
Well, I know that's like a best case scenario, and I know that's something that's being discussed, but
that would be because I
great, but I don't know how likely it is to happen. Well, we'll have to ask Pagnotta on Saturday.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, we got a lot of text to get to. 780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 5-2 to the Maple Leafs. The 5-on-3 killed them, and people very disappointed. Great atmosphere in the building, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I give Oilers fans credit. I give Leafs fans credit. Like, they had the competing chants and everything. I thought the vibe was really good in the building. There were a few lulls, but for the most part, it was pretty darn good. So let's go to Big Dave here. Big Dave texting in says, Oilers can't manage the puck or outmuscle their opponents in their own zone. It will never matter who's in goal. Ingram was okay tonight, but what can you expect from him when guys like Nyes are allowed to just waltz in front of the net uncontested? This team continues to play aimless hockey. Until that stops, these mediocre games will continue. D-zone coverage, Bellsy. What Big Dave's talking about there, playing strong, being on the right side of the puck, recognizing what's happening, danger in your own zone. Like, we're 57 games into the year here. Where are the Oilers when it comes to that?
They give up too many goals for free. And that's the biggest problem, is that the teams that don't give up goals for free, don't give up lines for free, make you earn everything, those are the hardest games. And those are when teams, they tire out, because at every single point they're getting contested. And for the Oilers, like, they got a bunch of guys that can skate well. They have puck-moving defensemen. They have some decent players on the back end, but they still give up too many things for free. And that, if you're playing against the Oilers, do you walk in as a forward and be like, man, I'm worried I'm going to get smoked tonight, or I'm worried that I'm not going to have any time and space? Like, you're not worried about any of that stuff. So you can go out and play, and you know that they're going to have defensive lapses. And all you have to do is be patient and capitalize on that. And that's exactly what teams are doing. They're being extremely patient. They're playing their game. And then, the defensive lap comes and bang, it's in the back of your net. That's, in a nutshell, that's exactly what's happening with the Oilers team. Sometimes it's a little bit careless, nonchalant. They don't get to their spots. Too much time for opposing teams, forwards, defensemen. It's a hard recipe to try to defend. And, you look at the goaltender we had before, Stuart Skinner. How is he under that kind of system? He moves on. He's much better. You had a goaltender that was in another system who had better numbers in a different style defense. Then he comes here and his numbers have fallen off a cliff. I don't know how else to say that. Like, I think we should probably stop sitting here and saying we're going to blame the goaltenders every single time. Like, hey, there's times when goaltenders let in bad goals, and you have every opportunity to jump on that. But I don't think that can be the rhetoric every single time. Ingram made good saves today. He did.
Yeah, he did.
Big ones.
But, like, 2 of the 4 goals that I can tell you right off the top of my head are through the seam. Basically, one's a backdoor tap-in, one's a missile one-timer. What do you want to do?
Blame the goalie. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry I even said that. I'm just kidding. All right. Keep those texts coming in. There's a lot of good texts I want to get to. 780-218-9999. The Oilers lose 5-2 to the Maple Leafs. Bitter taste in Oil Country's collective mouth, if you will, but an opportunity to atone tomorrow night at the Saddle Dome. Let's go inside the Oilers locker room. I will let Benny pick who we hear from first.
I'm curious to hear Darnell Nurse's perspective of the goal and everything. So, let's hear from Darnell Nurse.
2-2, so you guys have a lot of momentum. You get the penalties. So is that just you couldn't get the kills you needed tonight, or how do you look at this one?
Yeah, we need to step up and get the kills, and we weren't able to do it. And that's the difference at 2-2. It's everyone's trying to do the right thing, and we got to continue to chip away at it and make sure that becomes a strong point of our team down the stretch.
It was, a 4-4 homestand. I'm guessing you guys were hoping for a little bit more. Were there some things you just couldn't get over the hump with, or little things that prevented a couple wins, you think?
Yeah, we got to, I think, you want to have a better result than 500 at home, obviously. There's adjustments that I think our team can make, and we have one big game again tomorrow against Calgary. We look forward to that and learn from tonight.
Lots of goals going in here, like 4 a night, 5 a night. You guys have been trying to get hold of that for a while, and you don't seem to be getting a handle on it. What do you think's going on?
It's it's a situation we just we do our individual jobs better. I can not point any fingers in any different directions. Like, I've been out there for a good amount. I got to be better in that department. I'm not going to deflect it to anywhere else.
Darnell, what did you see on that second goal? The ref blind you from the pass from Ingram, or what happened?
Yeah, I couldn't see it, but gotta try to get a piece of that.
Heading into the breaker, is this team trending in the right direction, or is it too early to start worrying about that stuff? Where do you feel you guys are at right now?
No, I think our team is at our best when we're not looking big picture. We simplify and zoom in on the day, on the game, on the challenge ahead. So, our group just got to get to that. I mean, the big picture stuff, that's for you guys to talk about. For us to be at our best, we got to zoom in and take care of each day.
Was it Carlo? Was that because of the collision with McDavid?
And he knew it was coming, and it was good.
All right, there you go. That was a spirited fight. Good to see two big boys chucking them, and Darnell Nurse defending his captain. All right, let's go to this one, because you heard Darnell Nurse talking about all the goals that have been allowed lately. Brian Swain, who is our stat man extraordinaire, sending this in, says, first time in franchise history, the Oilers have had two separate spans in the same season of giving up at least 30 goals over 6 games at home. The first span this season came October 28th to November 25th, and it should be noted each span comprised 2 entirely different goaltender tandems. That's from our good friend Brian Swain. Thank you, Swainer, for that. You could keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Reid Wilkins, you heard him there asking about the fight. He is standing by back at his satellite studios. You've got Gazzola, Belle, and Thomson as well. And let's bring in Reid Wilkins for Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. All right, Reid, Rick, we heard you work in the room. You said, and we have it ready to go, but you said there's some other interesting things that came out of the locker room. Give us a little tease here.
Well, Kapanen wasn't in a great mood.
I can't imagine why he wouldn't be.
Yeah. I can't remember who asked, but there was one question he just said, "If you say so," and then didn't expand on it.
Then, should we run this?
If you want to, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean,
Benny,
it wasn't like tense or fighting, but he was. I think he was a little perturbed, which he has every right to be after a loss. That's fine.
Well, let's hear from a perturbed Kasperi Kapanen.
Situation. I had a lot of chances. I guess it was just a matter of unable to take advantage of some of the chances before that big moment out there.
Yeah, I feel like throughout the whole game we had plenty of chances, and especially in the second period, I thought we were playing well, and I thought throughout the game we were the better team, and you take a couple penalties and you give them a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes, and they got such good players that they're probably going to end up in the back of the net. So that's just how it went today, but just got to focus on tomorrow, and it's going to be a big 2 points for us.
You guys, your whole season's thus far set up for this 8-game homestand here. You guys are hoping to have a better homestand, I'm sure, than 4-4. Disappointing, I guess, to go 500 at home. Pretty big opportunity here.
If you say so.
How do you feel about how you played on the homestand overall?
Yeah, it's. I feel like my game this year has been better than it was last year, and I've talked to you guys about, you guys have been asking kind of the same questions. I'm just trying to be consistent.
Sorry, I meant about just about the team game. There were some, the PK wasn't great. There were some games with 4, 5, 6 goals against. I guess I'm going there.
Yeah, well, like you said it. I mean, we haven't been playing our best, and obviously playing 8 games in a row at home, you'd like to win more games, but that's how it is now, and can't do anything about it. And like I said, we just need to go into tomorrow and try to win the big 2 points.
You got a big goal tonight. The bottom 6 has been playing pretty well the last couple of games and generating a lot of chances. I guess, do you feel like the goals will start coming eventually? You've had a lot of chances the last few games. Yeah,
eventually, and those bottom 6 guys, they've been competing hard and working hard, so eventually it's going to start going in for them, and for some guys it has been. So I think once we get that going and we get some guys scoring and then feeling good about themselves, obviously it's going to help, and we can't be letting in 5, 6, 7 goals per game, because it's just, it's too much. It's not the right way to win.
Is that the key here? The other guys are getting to 4 and 5 most nights, even when you win. Does that have to get settled out pretty quickly?
Yeah, I feel like we're just always trailing, and we're always trailing by 2, 3 goals, and they've scored 4 or 5. So, as a good team, I feel like we can't be doing that moving forward, and that's something that we've addressed, and it doesn't happen overnight. So we're trying, guys. Like we're trying, and we want to be better defensively as well. But that's just the way it went tonight.
Okay, so there's Kapanen. I didn't mind that, Reid. I didn't mind that. Like he said it how it is, and he misunderstood the one question. You kind of cleaned it up, and you're like, no, the team. So I didn't mind that. What did you take away from the room and Kapanen, and your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't mind it either. I just was telling you what happened. Like I think when a player does that, if you say so. I think that they don't feel that way, and they're not in the mood to give a clip to counteract it.
Well, Bellsy did that all the time. That's how Bellsy was with the media.
Yep.
I mean, I got the sense from Kapanen that he's moving on, that they lost a hockey game and he's moving on, that he feels that they can play better. I don't think I got the sense from then the question I asked when I redirected him to no, I'm talking about the team. I got the sense that he didn't care how long the homestand was. Like, I don't know if he himself or maybe much of the team was looking at this as an 8-game section, perhaps as much as the fans and the media were. Like, I think they were just like, well, we lost our most recent game and we play again tomorrow. Having said that, this was a demarcation point. I mean, I think because maybe if they're in it, Bellsy, maybe you can talk about this a bit better than I can. Maybe if they're in it, they don't look at it that way as much. But I think for fans and media, yeah, an 8-game homestand is a demarcation point in the season, especially since you had a tough road schedule earlier. Mm-hmm. And they referenced, including some of the leaders on the team like Ekholm referenced, so we played a lot of hockey. We played a lot of hockey on the road, and we weren't always at our best. So, okay, earlier in the season, they were setting that up as a storyline. And this 8-game homestand was quite underwhelming. I mean, they went into it having got a road shutout in Vancouver and then got a road shutout at home to start the homestand. Slept walk through 40 minutes of a New Jersey game, only allowed 2 goals and lost. And then after that, we're giving up quite a few goals every game.
Yep.
Was it not 30 goals over the last 6 games of the homestand? I mean, that's atrocious. That's what a last place team would do.
And that's the second time this season they've given up that many goals in a 6-game span, like Swayner brought up. So
right. So okay, they play tomorrow. If they go out and play well tomorrow, then that's 6-4 in the 10-game stretch before the break, bookended by road wins. You can say, okay, not bad. If they lose tomorrow, and then who knows how far, like they're not that far above the playoff cut line. Like I think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not coasting with a 9-point cushion or something like that. So I didn't think that tonight's game was exactly the same though as some of the other losses. I mean, Toronto didn't get to 4 or 5 the same way Washington did, or or the same way San Jose got a 3-0 lead. First of all, I think both goaltenders were very good tonight. I thought Ingram went toe-to-toe with Stolarz, and Ingram ultimately takes the loss because he got scored on a 5-on-3, and that turned out to be the winning goal. Stolarz was excellent, but you just had still these self-inflicted wounds, like why, Belsey, why is Wallman changing?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah. It's like it's pinching at the wrong time. There was one right at the end of the second period, off a face-off in the offensive zone, and Darnell Nurse pinches. They chip it by him. It goes for a quick 2-on-1, and luckily they just missed the pass. Nurse does actually backcheck quite well, and they just missed the pass, and the play is dead because obviously the buzzer goes. But it's like, you don't need to give up that 2-on-1. You don't need to force the action if there's 20 seconds left in the second period at the end. You can't be giving up 2-on-1s. Wallman, you change. Bouchard comes on. I don't know if you saw Bouchard's back check on that one, but I'm telling you, it ain't very good. So both of those things, why are you changing? That's craziness. So at some point, I don't care if you have too many men or whatever that looks like. Hey, don't allow this to happen, this 2-on-1 to happen. If you got to trip them. I don't personally care.
Right.
That's just my opinion. But you can't give up the 2-on-1 because of, once again, a nonchalant play.
Yeah. And then I heard you guys reference, I texted Tom. I think you think you played Darnell. He just kind of said he kind of lost the puck. Okay. Tough play on the other goal. And then obviously you're down 2 men. And look, Matthews should have been called for holding, but I mean, that happens, right? I took a swing with a question I asked Knobloch about the high sticking penalties, because look, I think part of the reason Lazar sat out tonight is because he has a couple 6 or 8 minutes of high sticking penalties in the last 4 or 5 games. I mean, he got that double minor in the one game. I even referenced the stat that was put out during last year's final, that over the course of the playoffs, the Oilers had 13 high sticking penalties and the Panthers had 2, not just against each other. And, Knobloch kind of poo-pooed that stat and said, we got hit in the face a lot too. But, keep your stick under control. Yes, stuff happens, but you're supposed to keep your stick under control.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, Kane probably had 12 of those 13 high sticking infractions. So
fair enough.
That.
Yeah. If you said 3 or 4, that's realistic, but you had to go to 12.
I'm sorry. Well, am
I wrong?
I found the stat from.
He had a lot.
Well, he had a few. Yeah, he did have a few. You're right that he.
Well, when you hit like this, generally speaking, that's directly to the face. I don't know what you want to, and you can't complain about it. Now, the Janmark one, to me, with the penalty that he caught, 2 guys are fighting for the puck. You've got an interference holding, whatever you want to call it, on Matthews because he's impeding him from getting a puck that he just last touched. Janmark was a guy that touched that puck last. Now they're racing for it. Both of them have access to that free ice. So if you now skate into that player's ice and you impede him from getting there, that's interference all day, every day. It's kind of the same thing that happened with the Savoy. So now you get into a situation where both guys are fighting for the puck and Janmark's trying to lift his stick and go through. But because both guys are leaning in and whatnot, it's a tough penalty because it's Matthews, you're actually down considerably trying to get in and impede him from, getting around you. And he's now trying to lift the, your stick or just make a hard play so he can get the puck and it hits him in the head. If you're going to do that and you're going to call that, then you better call both. That's just my opinion on the situation because one's a penalty, and now you pick one, and now we're a 5-on-3. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the McDavid engaging, and then he draws the penalty. That's what it reminds me of.
It looks similar to that. Yeah. It did. So, but whatever. I mean, they didn't get another goal when they needed one. The PK was bad on the home. What did I tweet out? 65% or something like that. The power play actually wasn't that good over the course of the homestand. So there are definite reasons they lost and didn't have a successful homestand. I mean, I kind of get the sense that they think they're fine. Like they think they can play better. They think they can clean it up. They think they know what's ahead. You know, like even if you heard what Nurse said, you know, maybe I do think they can play better. Mm-hmm. But as I heard you guys talking about, like bigger picture, how good really is this team? Like it's okay. They're good.
They're not elite.
If,
they're a
if
good
the
team.
If the top guys go to town, I mean, they're hard to stop.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, there's and even I think I want to be careful here because I don't want to. This might come across as a backhanded compliment, and well, maybe I do mean it that way.
Just say it, Reid. Just say it.
Even the praise for the third and the fourth line is only in comparison to almost complete incompetence for large stretches of the season. Well,
That's
hey, the
fair.
third and fourth line is doing something. Yes, but is the something that they're doing good NHL third and fourth lines, or is it just better than awful?
Well, as I like to say, the bar is so low right now.
Right. So, and you know, Szymanski maybe he's going to be a player there. I do think Frederick's more involved. Mangiapane had one of his best games of the season, and then he gets benched for a mistake, which I thought was a pretty harsh decision by Knobloch, doing it that quickly when he was actually having a good night. And again, that was the whole sequence. Wasn't that the sequence that started with Wallman pinching? We're going to that wasn't even a pinch. That was a change.
There's a change. Yeah. They've gotten burned on changes recently. They're just picking the worst times.
And quite frankly, guys, like now that we've seen Wallman for almost a year, he is prone to make some really bad decisions like that. Yep. You know, there's been a couple other times he's pinched or gone to the bench where you're like, well, wait a minute, man. Like, wait a second. So like it's little things, right? But they're little things that are holding the team back. Can they play better? Yes. Can they play way better? I'm not sure they can with this roster. Like there has to be a point where, you can commit, you can check better, all that kind of stuff. But there's also a point where, you know, maybe you're just limited by your talent or your shortcomings, and you're going to keep either failing to do the things you need to do or making the same types of mistakes over and over again.
All right, it is Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. You got Gazzola, Belle, and Thomson with Reid as well right now. I'm going to dive into the inbox for this one. Coach Mike says, Vegas served up the division lead to the Oilers on a silver platter, going 1-5-2 in the past 8. The Oilers, on the other hand, went 4-4 in that same span at home. Terrible homestand that could have been disastrous without a couple of late game comebacks. That's from Coach Mike. And yeah, they weren't ideal in how they handled this. But like I said, Reid, earlier in the show, regardless of, you know, how poorly they played or how good you think they played, they're right there. They are in the mix for the division lead. Yes, they have played more games than Vegas and Seattle, and that could play a big factor. But they're right there. Tomorrow night, they have an opportunity to atone for this loss in Calgary. Take advantage of your provincial rivals who are a weaker team. They've got rid of Rasmus Andersson. Yes, they brought in White Cloud. How do you look at tomorrow, and how do you evaluate the Oilers going into the break here?
Well, I look at tomorrow as probably a very difficult game because they're not playing well enough. I mean, there's, like I was just saying, there's always been something and let's face it, guys. How close was this? I hate to do this because at the end of the day, you either win or you don't, and there's always a reason you win. But how close was this to being a 2-6 homestand?
Pretty damn close.
Very close.
Coach Mike's right.
Even 2-4-2, if you tie those games against Washington and San Jose and lose in overtime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, there's reasons they won. There's reasons San Jose blew that game. Like I get it. So, you know, quite frankly, I'm not overly optimistic about tomorrow's game. Like they got to go back into Calgary. There's something missing lately. It's an energy level or a concentration or a focused alertness, as I like to say, instead of urgency.
What a term.
Maybe that
I love
might
that.
be like
That's great.
Like focused. Like does this look like a totally focused team right now? It doesn't. It's
No.
there in fits and starts, to be fair. And again, there were some good things tonight, but it's not there. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for them in Calgary tomorrow, just coming off a game like this. And then, where are they at? Well, I've said it. It's an incomplete roster. I heard you guys talking about the general managing. I have questions about Bowman as well. Now again, I've been talking about this guy a lot, and maybe I'll eat my words, but I am starting to believe that Connor Ingram is a wild card in all this, because I really believe he's given the Oilers the best goaltending they've had this season, even in some of the losses. Like even for tonight, okay, the winning goal is a backdoor 5-on-3 tap-in. Like, he made important saves in this game. He's had other games. He's made important saves. He's kept them in it. He's given them a chance. He's cleaned up. I mean, speaking of Wallman turned the puck over at the offensive blue line and gave Bobby McMahon a 120-foot breakaway. He stopped it. Like, he stopped it with the score 0-0.
Made some big saves.
If the Oilers win this game 2-1 or 1-0, like, then we're talking about that save, how he cleaned it up. So, yes, of all of Bowman's shortcomings, I wonder if could taking a flyer on Ingram be a big payoff or even a moderate payoff down the road. Anyway, I didn't answer the question, Tom, but that's just something that was in my
I just like seeing you get mad. It's kind of fun.
No, I'm not mad at all. I'm praising
I just like seeing you get agitated. It's kind of fun.
All right.
All right, Reid. Good stuff. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Thanks, Shawn. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Benny.
Take
There
care.
we go. There's Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Go visit them at ewell.ca, your Edmonton-based partner in power and a source for all things electrical. All right, boys, we've got a couple of minutes here to wrap things up. Benny, any other thoughts before we get to the player of the game?
I love fired up Reid.
It's the best.
I love him. He's makes things very entertaining. And I'm with him on that Ingram call, man. Like, he is, like, I mean, what a shock to start. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about when Jari goes down, it's like, it might be Tompkins that comes up, because Connor Ingram's numbers in the AHL, not very good. And he's been their best goalie all year. If you take the total, and it started off, it's a small sample size. To me, you can't say that, it's too small anymore. Like, he's proven he's been the best goalie on this Oilers team as of right now. Let's hope Jari can figure out some of the tough starts he's had as of late. But I mean, right now, playoffs start tomorrow. Connor Ingram, game 1, he's starting for me.
Not really going to argue that, because that's fine with me.
You can't argue it, because you've hit every point. Like, he's been solid. Like, when you watch him play, very calm, cool, collected in the net. He's not sliding all over the place. He makes timely saves when he needs to. Like, he seems like he's very confident in the net. And when it almost seems like the Oilers play a little bit more free when he's out there.
Yep.
Just because they feel like they might be able to get that save. And I don't think they're changing their game. It just seems like they play a little bit more free.
It's costing them.
Can we circle back to this in a second?
We could do whatever you want, Ben.
Well, what would you like to circle back to, Ben?
Well, the Ingram thing, because Damon Bunting, real estate player of the game. Damon Bunting has been a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find the right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. We can bring back this Connor Ingram conversation again, because he's player of the game for me today. As much as I think how the Oilers could have won this game, they absolutely could have, in my opinion. To me, this was not a brutal game for the Oilers where they just got blown out at home ice. They had their chances. Stolar made some big saves. Did Ingram win the goalie battle tonight? Technically, no. With that being said, if Connor Ingram isn't playing well tonight, I don't even think the Oilers have a shot. I think it's Leafs are the first two big chances to start off the game. You know, we've been talking about how the Oilers, their starts have been really brutal with letting in a bunch of goals right away. I'm sorry, if Connor Ingram's not playing his best, it's another case of that tonight where the Oilers are down 2 or 3-0, and we're talking about the same thing in the postgame show. You need to have a better start. Ingram was there to bail him out a little bit when they were leaking their own zone. So Connor Ingram, man, to me, I don't get the hate that he got from some people tonight. I thought he was really good, held a minute, gave him a chance to win. Ultimately, they didn't. He's not the one to blame, in my opinion. So, yeah, he's David Bunting, player of the game.
Made some big saves. I'm with you on that, Benny. Although, when you were away, I had David Bunting player of the game duties, and I gave it to the opposition team.
Ooh.
Wow.
There's two teams on the ice.
Yeah, well, it's an Oilers show, no? I like to give a little, just like, to show that there's positives when there's so much negative. You know what I mean?
So young.
I know.
Not jaded yet.
I know.
I appreciate that.
I don't plan on getting to it, but after reading a lot of these texts and comments, it might turn me. I don't know. We'll see.
I will read a text from RBM. It says, guys, all these things you're bringing up are exactly what the problems are. They have 3 high event D-men in their top 4. Yes, 1 elite offensive D-man, but still 1 good, solid 2-way D-man, but age is catching up with him, and then inexperience in their third pairing. Not easy to play good, solid, consistent defensive hockey with that makeup. Yeah, and I appreciate that Oil Country's starting to see that. Like, I was beating that drum. Belsey was beating that drum. Cass was, and we were taking heat. People were like, it's the goalies. It's the goalies. It's like, all right, they went and got 2 new goalies, and we're saying the same thing. So RBM, yes, you're right. I'm with you, and I'm glad people are finally like, shoot, these guys can't play defense.
That's well. I'm happy RBM brought that, because that was another thing that stuck out when you guys were talking. Like the whole, to me, Wallman, Nurse, Bouchard, all 3 of them very high event and can, as much as, especially Bouchard and even Wallman can be so productive in the offensive zone, they can also be, causing blenders in their own zone.
High event is a nice way to put
the
F up.
Yes, 100%. And I think if at the deadline, getting a safe, steady defenseman would really, really help this team play with less leaks of chances in their own zone. I don't know if I properly said that, but that's kind of... No,
it kind of makes sense. We get it.
Yeah.
Belsey, I'll leave the final word to you.
I think everything's been said. The Oilers need to be better defensively. They're saying it. Media's saying it. Fans are saying it. Everybody in Edmonton saying it. That's what it boils down to. The goaltending, it is what it is. We've had 4 of them here. And all of them have faced the same challenges when they happen, 5 of them, when they happen to be in the net.
Or 4, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, 4 of them. So at the end of the day, the defense needs to be better. There is a nonchalantness to how they play. They give up a little bit too much time and space. They don't suffocate the other team. And at the end of the day, they give up too many things for free. And that's fun for opposing teams. If they can solve that, if they can at least limit turnovers and chances, that might give them a better opportunity to win some games. So that's what I'd like to see. And tomorrow's game is going to be a good test because Calgary plays hard. Like they don't quit on you, and they make it tough on you. They clog up the middle. You got to go find a way to get to the net. I mean, you're going to get slashed. You're going to get hacked. You're going to get whacked. All these things are going to happen. And we've also seen that the Oilers don't necessarily like games like that. So it's going to be a tough test, but you're going to have to win that game so that you can feel good going into the break, and then you can sit back and watch Connor play for Team Canada.
Oh, that's going to do it. Adam from Lloyd, I want to read your text. I'll read it to cap this off. Benny likes to cater to the home fan base, just like Sportsnet with the early start time, Leafs home play-by-play guys, and refs wearing Leafs skitch. Bring on the Olympic break already. I've had enough of this team for a bit. FFS. Have a good night, boys. Adam from Lloyd, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. It was a lively show. We had a lot of fun, lots to debate. And guess what? The Oilers have another chance tomorrow to win a game, pick up a pair of points, and leave Oil Country in a good mood going into a 2.5-week break. If they do that, it would be lovely. Can we promise that? Absolutely not, because we don't know what to expect from this group night in, night out. It's kind of been a theme throughout the season. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Thank you to everybody who watched, everybody who listened. You know we appreciate you. We'll do it one more time tomorrow night, 8 o'clock start. We're on the air at 7 for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Myself, Cass, and Benny. For Reid Wilkins, for Shawn, Belle, and Ben Thomson, I'm Tom Gazzola saying, have a great night, everyone. We get going tomorrow, 6 a.m. Bellesy's on the Hangout. I'm on the Hangout. Lots to discuss. We'll see you then.